Hi and welcome back to the Cheeky Crypto Podcast. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at the SEC. We're going to have a look at some narratives that are rearing their heads. We're going to dig into everything cryptocurrency. If you enjoy this sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and do us an absolute blinder and let me know in the comments below what would you like to see more of on the podcast channel. Really interested to get your views and opinions. Mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a podcast. Right, let's get down to the desktop. So we're going to start here. We'll start with the SEC. Now, people that watch the podcast or listen to the podcast already know my feelings on the SEC is that basically I think they've done a very, very poor job. I think that the leadership should be under investigation. A lot of companies and banks, exchanges have failed under their watch. And, it's all well and good. Some of these CEOs being brought to justice and, having to pay the consequences. But what about the regulators? And this is something that a lot of people aren't talking about. They are supposed to be safeguarding and keeping investors safe. And I think they failed on that. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. It looks like a lot of CEOs of big companies within the crypto space are also singing off the same hymn sheet as myself. The SEC is completely out of control, according to the head of policy for one of these blockchain companies. Look, basically at the annual Futures Industry Association conference, representatives from crypto companies argued the lack of regulatory clarity and basically argue that it will stifle US innovation. And I can get my words out today. I completely align with that. I think the lack of clarity is a really big problem for cryptocurrency. And I think, is it a case of, a lot of the people that are in these regulatory positions are kind of similar to dinosaurs, as in they're really old and, are really considering things as they used to be rather than what they are now and what they could be in the future. I think it could just be a case of they don't really know how to regulate it. And I think that you can't just, it's a bit like one of those toys when you're a child. We have to put like the square through the square hole. The square block through the square hole, for example. They're like trying to get this square block through a circle hole, for example. And I just don't think that is, how you're going to actually achieve success. I think the enforcement of regulation, when you don't know what the regulations are and what the lines are, is ridiculous. And one thing that I will call out is something that I see quite a lot is a company is starting to fail. The SEC comes in and basically hammers that final nail in the coffin and then leapfrogs the retail investors in getting their money for the fines. So, they're not really, I guess, protecting retail investors as per their mission statement. Personally, I think the whole leadership team should be fired and investigated, and I think some should even potentially face prison time, because I think they're as bad as the scammers, the likes of Sam Bankman-Fried, Do Kwon and those lot. I think they're just as responsible. I don't think they're the ones that obviously committed the crime, but they allowed the crimes to happen under their watch, and they allowed retail investors to lose a significant amount of money under their watch. Now, I think there is a big attack on cryptocurrency, and that is from the banks. We're seeing, obviously, various banks collapsing, even seeing that, certain banks weren't even having liquidity problems and there were really no reasons to close them down, apart from they had really good positive relationships with crypto firms, and all of a sudden, it's closed down and under investigation, I guess, from the SEC. And we're seeing NatWest in the UK now. They're sent out text messages. I personally received one because I used to bank with them, and that is not something that I recommend. I think NatWest are absolutely shocking. I won't get into the details of why, but let's just say, like, I have an account with them, but like literally I keep £1 in there because that is what keeps the account open. And then occasionally I'll make a transaction in and out just so that that account stays open. I know it winds them up, and that is why I do it. But, I don't recommend this bank at all. I think they're terrible. Their customer service is awful. But they're now sending out text messages informing people that basically, because of all the scams and the risk, you are now only allowed to transfer X amount on a daily basis and a monthly basis. I think it's like £1,000 per day with a maximum of £5,000 per month. Now, for many people, that isn't going to impact them, right? But before all of this happened and we saw all that stuff, I think it might have been HSBC talking about, no longer allowing people to buy crypto on credit cards. I align with that, completely agree with it. It's a risky investment and you should only invest what you're willing to lose. And if you don't have the money to lose in the first place, i.e. use a credit card, then, I don't think that doesn't align. So I agree with that. But I did say, and I'll repeat it again, that was just a step in a multi-step process that they were going to go through. I said next it'll be your debit cards and your bank accounts. And that is what we see here with this NatWest. We see NatWest, and we're going to see more, I'm sure of it, put in limits. And those limits might not impact the vast majority of people now. But when they realise that they're not really getting too much backlash, it'll go from £1,000 a day to £500 a day and £2,500 a month. And then, that might start to impact more people. And then they realise, oh, okay, we didn't get too much backlash on that. Right, it's 150 a day, and now it's only 1,000 a month, and that impacts almost everybody at that point, as an example, right? And at that point, like, they might get some pushback, and they'll be like, okay, we'll go to £2,000 again. But the damage is done. They're pushing the boundaries. They're seeing what they can get away with. And the one thing that pisses me off the most is it's our money. And I agree that maybe they should make you phone the bank and read a script to you saying that crypto is, risky, and you sure you want to do this transaction and all that sort of stuff. Fine. But telling me I can't use my money is different to basically, let me know how dangerous it is. What I really think this is the banks are having a liquidity crisis across the board, multiple countries, and I think we're going to see more banks fail. What does that mean for the Fed and what they're going to do? Be it a pivot, print machine come back on? Does it mean that they're going to continue with their hikes? Does it mean bailouts? What does it actually mean? There's lots of talk that this is not as bad as 2008, but I really disagree. I think it's going to be far worse. I think that they messed up the last time with their interest rate hikes. I think they should have gone stronger. And I think that actually we would be in a position that we could perhaps look to ease off. But it looks like they're going to, potentially ease off. I still think a 0.25 would be something to not be surprised if we get that. But time will tell. We're pumping at the moment. Lots of people talking about bull runs and all that sort of garbage. Talking about $50,000 Bitcoins. And as much as I would like to think that, that'd be great and possible, I still think that we're going to have some lows before we even consider going into that. Now, look, is there an argument that we could see this stuff? Yes. And I went over that on the video on the main channel. There is a big chance that, this is on the cards of a $50,000 Bitcoin, because bonds are being sold and money's got to go somewhere, and clearly you can't keep it in a bank because they're failing. So where does that money go? Traditionally, it's gone into metals like gold and silver. Is it likely to then also go into Bitcoin? It's an open question. Nobody knows the answer. The landscape has not been seen by anybody in their lifetime currently, right? We've seen this stuff in the past, before many of us were born, depressions and all this sort of stuff. I think they call it the Great Depression, which makes no sense to me. What's great about it? But look, these are the things that, make it very, very challenging. And all these people that have been calling bull market, they've been calling bull market since June, right? And eventually they're going to be right. We've been saying to expect lower lows. We've been right about the vast majority of things that have happened so far, but we think that we either have to retest or see lower lows. So let's see how this all plans out. But the attack on crypto is very real. We're seeing Binance suspending sterling transfers following crypto crackdown. We've got Germany and the US seizing over $46 million worth of crypto tied to chip mixer investigation. Again, this crypto, why is it a bad thing? It's a good thing that they're dealing with the crime, but they're collating an awful lot of cryptocurrency that I believe will be sold on the market. We've got UK to add crypto declaration in tax forms. Taxpayers will have to record their tax gains separately as of next year, the UK Treasury has said. Now, I think this is a really positive thing. When you look at crypto and the general short-term to medium-term landscape for financial instruments not looking great, I think that it's a real positive to see that countries are saying, yeah, we can tax this, because it means it's going to be here for the long term. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you did, mash up that like button, and I will catch you in the next one.